Hey guys, welcome back to Built After Hours. My name is Bo Overstreet. If you haven't followed my channel before, we focus on bread and butter. Bread being our day job and butter being our side businesses. Kind of the difference between surviving and thriving. In our previous video, we learned how to kind of get started with Uber and how to use that as a side income, as one of our income streams to kind of build a world we can kind of thrive in. So we talked a little bit about how Uber is awesome because you can cash out at any time. So you can literally drive for diapers if you're in need. You can drive until you have the amount of money that you need, cash out and go home. We also talked about how Uber is ideal in situations where you've got young kids, you don't have a lot of time, and you want to spend time during the day with the family. It's not too difficult to put the kids down and go drive to earn this extra side income to kind of make ends meet and make everything work. That extra income a lot of times can provide going out to eat with the family, new baseball gloves, dance lessons, all those things that we really need for our family to thrive. In that previous video, we talked a little bit about how you can use an extra card to kind of build your side income and the things that are needed. I wanted to make this video just to kind of give you a run through of the numbers of what you can kind of expect in different situations for driving. We also talked in the previous video about different ways to drive. You can pick big events and you can try to mainly drive for those large events where you're going to make a bigger dollar per hour, but a lot of times you're working kind of a more hectic schedule rather. You can also, the way I prefer to drive is to pick a set schedule throughout the week, a Friday, Saturday schedule or a Tuesday schedule, things like that. And you drive a similar time every week and it builds up over time and you have a new monthly income, things like that. So, to get started, we're just going to go to the Drive with Uber page and it's going to take us into where we can sign in. And once we sign in, it's going to take us into our daily earnings page. Okay, now I've already got this pulled up over here. So we are going to go through, kind of the first thing we'll go through is driving for an event. So I always try to take time to drive for New Year's. That is a big evening, for Uber and Lyft. As you can see here, this just keeps going down. This is actually off my Uber page. You can even hit load more, and it's going to give us, more and more rides that we did that day. You'll see these are decent rides. This is $26 a ride, $14 a ride, 17, 8, 13. These are including tip and everything out the door. This is the income that actually came to me. I have a standard policy for myself when I'm driving for Uber. I don't take any rides that are under $10 per ride. I just don't. I find that if you just wait a couple minutes, even if you're not catching a $5 ride, that $26 ride may be right around the corner. So it's better for me, at least, if I wait and I only catch the bigger rides. And you'll see that kind of proves out here. We're also going to look at not only December 31st, like the New Year's traffic, but we're going to look at just kind of a random day in February, or random weekend rather, in February, where I drove Tuesday and I drove a Friday and I drove a Saturday night. Okay. All I did with these, especially like with this New Year's Eve one, I just copied these numbers over to a spreadsheet. I am a sucker for a good spreadsheet. I feel like if you don't know where every dollar is going when it comes in, it's likely to go right out the other side. And if you're not paying attention to how much money you're making per the hour that you're working, you may be better off getting a job at McDonald's or for a side income as opposed to a business. So we copied everything over here. You'll see these are the exact same rides we saw on the other page. We totaled everything up. So for New Year's Eve, I made $297 last year. And if we come up here, you'll notice here on these times, you'll see the UberX and we'll see the times that I drove, right? So you can see here I started at 18:04, that's 6 o'clock at night, and I drove until 2:10 on January 1st. We talked in my previous video about not driving near bar close. A lot of times we're gonna have better rides and we're going to be safer and we're going to be around people that we actually want to be around, right up until about a half an hour before bar closes. But when half an hour before bar closes and after is going to be more problem children. It's going to be closing time. We're going to have, people that are people that are really drunk, people that need a cab and not getting in your personal vehicle and driving with Uber, things like that. So that's kind of what I did here. We drove from 6 p.m. Until 2 a.m. on New Year's Eve. you'll notice we got start and end time here. My total income there was that $297.31 that we see right down here. And then we worked about 8 hours. Okay, so when we break that down, our total income for the hours is $37 an hour. So as you can see here, not bad money, definitely on par with a pretty decent day job. So that is one way to do Uber, and that's a lot of people do this. They're trying to drive for big events. If you want to do this in your area, you simply need to Google the large city around you with the word events after it. Usually it's going to pull up your local, like a local city calendar that'll have all the different big things that are coming to you. So things like big concerts, Garth Brooks, Forrest Frank, any of those big things, big festivals, whether that be a bourbon tour or a blues tour or a big event like basketball games, things like that. You can make a whole living on Uber just driving for your local college teams, just driving every time they have a game, because there's always people needing Uber for those things. So this kind of sums up driving for one big event. As you can see, a lot of bang for the buck there. The other way we drive is picking days of the week that we want to drive, right? You'll notice here this next day is a day in February where I just kind of picked some other days that I wanted to drive. And you'll notice here that we started on Tuesday that week, the 28th, and we drove for a couple hours. We drove Friday night a little bit and Saturday night a little bit. These nights, I must have had something going on the next day because I didn't drive super late, which, that may be how you want to drive as well. So you'll notice here, if you look at the numbers over here, Tuesday I drove from 7 to 11, worked about 4 hours. Friday, that same week, I worked from 7:30 to 11, about 4.5 hours. And Saturday I worked from 9:30 to 1, so it's about 3.5 hours. So in total, I worked about 12 hours that week. And you'll notice here, from down here at the bottom, my total income was $316.37, right? So we throw that in here. If we take the total income we made divided by the 12 hours we drove, or we drove around our schedule, kind of made it work for us, you'll see our average is $26.36, okay? Now, $26.36 is not something to sneeze at. That's a decent income for an average week, right? Now, where this gets to be important is look at these averages, figure out what days of the week your averages are going to be better, and you want to focus on those days. And the main thing you want to do when you're trying to provide income for your family is don't do this one week, feel accomplished, and then take the next week off. The key with this to earn an actual income for your family is to do it every week, right? So say we are doing the same type schedule where we're only driving 4 or 5 hours at a time, 4.5 hours, and we're driving 12 hours a week. This fit into my schedule where I wasn't taking time away from my kids, and our total was $316. Now that seems all fine and good, but if we take that total equals, oh, maybe not, equals this. So yeah, if we take that 316 and we multiply it by 4 weeks in the month, we're gonna have $1,200, right? Now that's a great amount to shoot for. We may get there, we may not, but my personal goal when I was driving for Uber and trying to create a steady income was to do something around 300 every weekend. And then even if I had an off weekend or I needed to take a day off because I had to be up there early the next day, things like that, my goal was to shoot for around $1,000 a month, right? So, okay, that's about it. I wanted to go through the numbers with you guys. I know a lot of things online can be real theoretical. It's like, hey, we've got this new thing, a game you can play, and you pop bubbles and money comes. And it's almost like South Park, profit just comes out of nowhere. And it's like, that's not how it works. We actually need to see the numbers, right? So if you're interested in getting started with Uber and Lyft, I'll have my driving codes down at the bottom. So you can just click those and it can help you sign up. And then, but yeah, going forward, this will be the kind of income you can expect. If you have any questions, throw them in the comment. And always, if you do like this kind of content and you want to know how to add extra streams of income to your daily grind, a little butter to put on your bread, like and subscribe. And I appreciate you guys. So if anybody has questions, give us a shout in the comments. Appreciate your time. Have a good day.